Now, he also is going to have all the NDAs that he put up thrown out. And a lawyer broke this down, and I brought it to the platform previously. I'm going to show you guys, give you guys kind of a refresh of what this lawyer said. This lawyer said that Diddy's not getting out, actually, too. But I'll give you guys a refresh of what this lawyer said about Diddy not getting out and all the NDAs being thrown out. We're not going to watch the whole thing. I'll just get to the part. You guys can kind of go back and watch that video, but I'll show you guys the part where he says, this is a former prosecutor breaking down Diddy's indictment. And he says that the NDAs are going to be thrown out when they're presented in court. Check this out right here.
Together. And by the way, those civil claims that he settled don't mean anything. That those non-disclosure agreements aren't going to apply to a criminal charge. And why do I say that? Because the feds are going to say, hey,
that's very important. I'm going to rewind what he just said right here. I want you guys to really catch this. This part is extremely important because Diddy has a lot of people on NDAs. So a lot of people were worried, like, how is it going to be possible for Diddy to go to jail when he got all these people on NDAs? So that's very important what he just said. He said that the NDAs, the federal government are throwing the NDAs that Diddy has with different people that could be witnesses. The federal government is going to throw those non-disclosure. Those are going out. That's crazy. Hit the like button if you're just coming in, please. We had 2,000 people in the room. We need to get the likes up. So if you have an NDA with Diddy, you work for Bad Boy, it doesn't even matter. The federal government can still call you as a witness. That's what this former prosecutor says.
Don't mean anything. That those non-disclosure agreements aren't going to apply to a criminal charge. And why do I say that? Because the feds are going to say, hey, that's great for your settlement. And it says it's a non-disclosure, but guess what? You're going to be my first witness.
Wow.
You are going to testify.
Wow.
And does he really want to have a trial and air this out nationally? But this exposure, you cannot take this in front of a jury because they're going to leverage him. They're going to give him a plea, but if he goes the distance, then he's going to get hammered. At the end of the day, I think this indictment is too specific. It goes for too long. And most importantly, they have too much evidence, and too many witnesses for him to get out of this thing. I think you can look. One of the biggest icons in the hip hop world is going to be doing prison time.
So he told us right there that it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? Diddy is gone. He going to jail. And as long as they can keep him from getting bail, he kind of washed up, man. It's kind of tough. He's actually right now, the lawyers for Diddy are scrambling right now. And they're trying to figure out who's actually accusing Diddy of certain things. So he requested that the judge let him know who the victims are. The article says Diddy reportedly asked prosecutors to reveal names of his alleged victims. So he wants specific names. And the article says he wants to address specific allegations. The details of the Diddy case are being sorted out. The mogul has been charged with racketeering and trafficking, with the trial rumored to kick off May 5th, 2025. According to TMZ, Diddy feels that he hasn't been given a fair shake. This is what Diddy said from prison or from jail. Diddy says right now that he feels he hasn't been given a fair shake. The Bad Boy founder allegedly requested the identities of his alleged victims to be revealed by the prosecution. His legal team argued that the knowledge of the accusers will make it easier for the allegations to be specifically addressed. So their game plan is we're going to go and tear each allegation apart one by one. Diddy said from jail that he doesn't feel like he's getting a fair shake and he has the right to know who's accusing him. I don't know that I disagree with that. I think they're trying to protect and seal the victims, the government is, because of all the things that he's been accused of, which is like blowing up cars and a bunch of different things like that. They've also accused him of trying to silence witnesses. They've accused him of trying to, find people to threaten them. They've accused him of different things like that. And there's like hundreds of lawsuits out against Diddy right now for, a bunch of different things. Now, on my other platform, Will Evans, we're going to break down the Will Evans channel, not the Urban Legend Will Evans channel, but just the Will Evans channel. we're going to start breaking down the business behind a lot of entertainment. And I'm saying that to tell you guys right now, I'm going to do live streams over there too. But I have a topic that I'm going to do probably today or tomorrow, most likely today, where I talk about how Macy's, the department store Macy's, covered up a crime that Diddy did in a Macy's, allegedly, because they had the Sean John deal. So make sure you're subscribed to the Will Evans channel, where we break down business entertainment news, the business of entertainment, and the business news over there. We're going to talk about that over there, how Macy's was accused of covering up a crime that Diddy did because of the Sean John deal they had with him, with Sean John clothing. Now, the article right here goes on to say the paperwork containing this request, the request that Diddy has for his victims to identify themselves, was filed on Tuesday, October 15th. Diddy's legal team argued that there will be voluminous evidence, meaning volume, a lot, to suggest that their client engaged in consensual activities with his alleged victims. So Diddy's stance is not that I didn't do it, but it was consensual. A lot of the stuff that he's being accused of, he gonna try to argue that it was consensual, like they wanted to do it. But you got to remember, one of the most important pieces of this is coercion creates crime. Coercion is just trying to convince somebody to do it. So if you sleep with me, I'll give you a record deal. That's coercion, and that's illegal too. So it's not all about fear and force. You know, fear and force usually are the starts of a crime, but in this case, coercion is just as important. So if he tried to use his status or anything that he had, like I'll take you on the jet or I'll take you on the yacht or whatever, if you use any of that and they can prove that you used any of that to convince somebody to consent, then you committed a crime right there. This is why I tell young men, period. If you flying out a woman with the intent to sleep with her and you letting and that's what you do, like I'm gonna fly you out, but you got to do this. That's a crime. That's considered trafficking, technically. So be careful. Be careful out there. And we've seen Diddy accused by a lot of male prostitutes of doing that too. The article says the evidence, however, this evidence, however, can only be provided if this article loaded, if the specific names of alleged victims are divulged. This is what his legal team is arguing. The legal team reportedly feel as though the federal prosecutors working the case should provide more information than they have thus far. Cassie, who is alleged to be victim number one based on description. So the lawyers are saying Cassie is their number one witness. Cassie is the star witness of Diddy's trial. Didn't I tell you guys that? If you've been in the live chats, if you come to the live streams since the beginning of this and before, I told you guys Cassie's lawsuit. Let me see if I can pull that up. I said it previously that Cassie was filing those lawsuits, and I'm sure I felt at the time that she was encouraged by the government. Not that Diddy didn't do the things that she accused him of. I think he was guilty as well. But the timing of it, in my opinion, came from her knowing behind the scenes that he was going to be charged with a crime, because she would have been in fear, in my opinion, to do that stuff. So it was perfect timing for Diddy to get arrested and all right after. And I know I said that on the platform. I just not sure where. Let me see if I can find it. Regardless, maybe you guys can go back and find that. Maybe we'll put it on another live stream. I don't want to get too much into that. But I said it previously. You know, Cassie, when the first lawsuit, when Diddy settled with her for like 30 million, I said it. I was like, yeah, she probably knows something coming. And then Diddy got arrested. It's just, she's victim number one. She's a star witness, because not just because of what he did to her, but because she's seen so much being around him that much. So right there, the article lets us know that you know, according to the description of the victim in the paperwork, Cassie is alleged to be listed as victim number one. And you know, victim number one, it says that the paperwork says victim number one dated Diddy. So that says a lot right there in itself. Now, we see it right there. This is the headline. Diddy asks feds to reveal alleged victims' names necessary for his defense. It says Diddy's lawyers are curious in the other unnamed victims. They also voiced concern over the ways the anonymity of Diddy's alleged victims will impact future lawsuits. They pointed to Tony Buzbee and the recent wave of lawsuits that have been filed by the lawyers' clients. So Tony Buzbee is a lawyer. I can't remember what state he's in, but he has I think he said 60 clients that are male, 60 clients that are female that he's representing as they've brought new allegations to Diddy. And he said that 55% of those victims actually 55% of those victims actually have filed police reports and accused Diddy of this at the time and did the work to make sure that Diddy would be held accountable. But it was between 1991 and 2024, and it goes back that far. But those victims actually did go to the hospital. They did get the RAPE kits, and the victims that Tony Buzbee are representing, 55% of that 120 people actually did something back then to try to get Diddy convicted or at least arrested. So that's interesting. Those lawsuits are going to be interesting. Now, back to this article. It says Diddy's lawyers pointed to Tony Buzbee and the recent wave of lawsuits that have been filed by the lawyers' clients. Diddy's team argued that the anonymity of the prosecution has created a, quote, pervasive ripple effect. So basically, a pervasive ripple effect is basically everybody can just come out and do the same thing. Everybody's going to keep coming out and accusing Diddy and not have to worry about putting their name on it. So nobody loses any type of they don't lose any respect or any what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, people can come out, be anonymous, and if it's not true, then nothing happens. Said one of that has resulted in a torrent of allegations by unidentified complainants. This is not the first time Diddy's legal team has voiced this concern over Buzbee. On Monday, the team criticized the lawyer's motives. They claim Buzbee was using the attention gained by the Diddy case to boost his own public profile. Quote, the press conference and 1-800 number that preceded today's barrage of filings were clear attempts to garner publicity. This is what Diddy's lawyers said about the guy that's representing all those victims that Diddy is being sued by, the new 120 victims. So, I mean, of course that lawyer is doing that. Of course he is. He's not going to not do that. He's going to do that. So that's a crazy situation, man. That Diddy has a lot of bad news hitting them all at once while he's still behind bars, and they're doing everything they can to get that man in the good graces of the public eye. But right now it's not working because he's still locked up. As long as he's locked up, it's going to be dang near impossible to get, anything thrown out.